Last quick story for the day. You probably heard this yourself over the weekend, but Biden gave an interview, this is Joe Biden, the Democrats' presidential candidate, allegedly. I asked Matt the Wonderful to quick play this clip, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't know if you saw, I saw the day that a news report broke that Amy Klobuchar was being vetted, and a lot of people on social media, they're not too happy about that. And it's because they want your running mate to be a black woman. I don't know if you saw the op-ed in the Washington Post by some of the leading black women voices in this country. And they feel since black women are such a loyal voting bloc and black people saved your political life in the primaries this year, they have things they want from you. And one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Okay, unbelievable he said that. And I want to I don't have much time left in the show today, but I want to make a couple quick points. We're going to do a very special deep dive into Biden in the next couple of days. What I want to say about that interview is, number one, the gentleman the host of that show who was interviewing him, whose show's name is Charlemagne the God. His show is called The Breakfast Club. That did not go over well, that statement by Joe Biden saying, if you don't support me, you ain't black. And so this guy, so very quickly, of course, after the interview, Biden issued an apology. He said, I shouldn't have been such a wise guy. I shouldn't have been so cavalier, blah, blah. But the apology was not sufficient. That host you saw, Charlemagne the God, basically said all Biden did was give lip service to an apology. He says the apology is cool, but the best apology is actually a black agenda. That host is saying what Biden's got to do is come up with a black agenda. He says, real policy commitments. He goes on to say, we've got to stop acting like the fact that the blacks are overrepresented in America when it comes to welfare, poverty, unemployment, homelessness, drug addiction, crime, coronavirus. That's no accident. That's a function of systemic racism. And then you had other black leaders weighing in. And I want to just tell you some of their comments. One was Alicia Garza, who is a co-founder of Black Lives Matter. She said, none of us can afford for the party or for this campaign to mess this election up. And comments like this are the kinds that frankly either make black voters feel like we're not really valued and people don't care if we show up or not. Another black leader, Adrian Shropshire, executive director of Black PAC, said, the first thing I thought was to what degree did this turn off those voters and how much more work the rest of us are going to have to do to convince people that it's worth their time and efforts. People, I just want to say this about that. The core problem is Biden is saying in that interview, he is revealing how he really thinks. This is not a thing you say when you have honest to goodness, fair-minded thought and you think as a candidate, my job is to convince voters of all different backgrounds to support me because here are my ideas. He's taunting that host, number one. But secondly, and most important, the idea of identity politics is behind what Biden is saying. Biden is saying the same message the Democrat Party says to a wide variety of groups in this country, the identity politics answer, which is the Democrat stance, which is because of your skin color, you are going to believe and value and vote the way we tell you. We, the ruling elite class, get to tell you because of your skin color or your ethnicity or your gender, but in this case, he's talking about skin color, saying, we get to tell you what you think. You're not allowed to think for yourselves. Because your skin color is black, you must think the way the Democrat Party is telling you. It is the most racist attitude. Identity politics at its core is just flat out racism. It is the idea that because of your skin color, you're told how you will think, and you are taunted and mocked and ridiculed if you dare to say, but I don't agree with the Democrat Party agenda. I don't agree with whatever the issues are that Biden is on. The Democrat Party and their embrace of identity politics needs to be recognized in this country as a core embrace of racism. We're going to have to roll because we're almost out of time on the show today. And I do want to tell you, I'm going to get into a few more amazing things I've been reading about Joe Biden recently. I have to get into them. And the next couple of days, we'll be covering that in this show because what he did, I call this the reveal by Joe Biden. What he did is tell you not just how he really thinks, which is basically, if you're black, of course you must support Biden. But it is a larger thing of what the American left, the identity politics embraced by the American left. The larger message is you're not allowed to think for yourself. If you have a particular skin color, then you're not allowed to think. You must think what we, the Democrat Party, tell you to think. That, my friends, is racism, plain and simple.